Hey everybody, it's me, Malzar, and I wanted to make a video that addresses mental health during what's going on in the world right now for a lot of us. Some people more than others, but regardless, I thought it would be really helpful if I could utilize my platforms as a way to help some people that might be in need right now. I've took the liberty of coming up with a few ideas that I would like to speak on, as well as doing some research for the situation at hand that can apply to kind of like a blanket among people, I guess you could say. For all of you, even myself, some things that I've been doing. So what I'm going to go over in this video, and I hope that you all enjoy it and watch it. This is a different type of content that I typically make on this channel, but I think that due to the circumstances, it's something that is very helpful. And I hope that you'll all listen. And for those that need it, even if it helps just one of you, I'll be very happy with knowing that. So here we go. All right, so I've made a list of notes here of things that I have, again, myself looked into and doing some research and some things that I've noticed that I think that people shouldn't do. Some of the things that can happen during this, you're going to notice my eyes kind of popping between here and a Google Doc. One of the most important things that I've noticed during this hard time is during this pandemic we're in and quarantine is that there's a lot of stress involved for everyone, including myself. And I'm sure a lot of you and your close friends and family and loved ones. Some of the things that are very stressful that can be included in this are some people will turn to more substance abuse. As a previous alcoholic myself, I no longer drink. I am literally 1 week away from being 3 months sober, so right on. And I couldn't be more proud of myself for my progress with that and staying strong in my resolve to not go back on that. I feel like such a better person. A lot of people will turn to the use of substances, whether it be alcohol or various other drugs. Don't allow yourself to do that. Coming from someone who used to use alcohol as a crutch, and whatever substance, if you're someone watching this, that you use or abuse, it's not going to make it better. It's only going to make it worse. I myself used to suffer a lot from anxiety and diagnosed a very light case for having it go unmanaged for so long. Alcohol only fueled it. When I learned to manage my anxiety and I quit drinking, my anxiety and alcohol no longer burden me. I can tell you right now that turning to any substance does not make things better. And I know that it may feel like in that moment that you feel better, you don't have to worry about something as much. It's temporary. It's only temporary. I promise you that it's just a Band-Aid. And it's a really bad Band-Aid at that. I wouldn't even call it a Band-Aid. I'd call it you taking a napkin and taping it over a wound. It's not a proper Band-Aid. A real Band-Aid is you accepting that this is the wrong choice. And that is when you place the Band-Aid on. And as you continue to heal and not turn to that substance and you take the Band-Aid off, then that wound is closed. I hope that makes sense. Another thing that I myself have noticed is I've seen a lot of my friends who have really good sleep schedules develop really bad ones. You can notice, and I noticed this, and then this is something that I also, upon doing some research of things that can happen. We're going to get into the things you can do to improve your mental health. Right now, I want to open up with things that you shouldn't do. Obviously, we just covered the substance abuse. Don't do that. Sleeping patterns. I noticed this in some friends, and upon doing some research today before making this video, that people will notice a change in their sleeping patterns. Having a healthy sleeping pattern is good for your mental health. Sleeping the entire day away will make you feel like you've already missed out on the day. A lot more people aren't up at night, so then you have less people to talk to. Try and keep a good sleeping pattern. You don't got to get up the crack of dawn, but try not to sleep past like 10 or 11. You know what I mean? I myself get up anywhere between 8 to 9 in the morning, sometimes 7 to 8, usually somewhere between 8 to 9 though is when I get up every single day, and I go to bed around midnight. Sometimes I'm up till 2, but I always get at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep. Minimum sleep you should try to get every night is 6 to 8 hours. 8 hours is healthy. 6 is like a minimum. You can do well on 6. Another thing that I've noticed is people having a lot of fear. Fear is a really shitty thing to have to deal with. I myself, when this whole entire ordeal first started in the end of December, beginning of January, actually probably around the beginning of January when this started, a lot of people were kind of just blowing it out of proportion, and I've seen things like this happen in the world before, so I was very fearful of it, and it caused me a lot of stress. And in turn, stressed people I knew too. And I was trying to tell them, hey, I'm really sorry that I'm really scared about this. You know, I'm not trying to stress any of you out. I just wish you guys would all take this a little more seriously. This could develop into something big, and it's not something that I wanted to be right about at all. And it did. And I never want to, and I'm also not the person that ever goes, I told you so. I hate when people do that. I don't do that. But this can cause a lot of fear in people, mainly fear and worry about your own health and people that you care about, their health as well. Try to keep as level-headed and as calm as you can. Avoid doing that. Yes, we are in a very trying and hard time right now, and it can be scary for all of us, but that doesn't mean that we have to lose our sense of resolve and our discipline. We can and we will all get through this together, and it will take time. It's not going to go away overnight, but we can and we will get through it. Another one that is this is a very obvious one, but people that already have issues with their mental health, whether it be depression, if they are suicidal, if they have, well, I don't really know all of them. I just know a lot of people with depression are struggling right now. And that is something to also take into consideration. This being locked inside your house and not having human interaction, especially for people that are extroverts or even for introverts that don't really like to go out much, but they have the option to. Not having that option can worsen your mental health. And I know that's really hard because what do? We're stuck inside. I mean, not everybody is in a full-blown lockdown. It's just recommended that you don't go out. And it is the safest measure to take because we flatten the curve, slow the spread, and the slower this spreads, the quicker it'll go away. So everyone not going out is really doing their part, and I hope that you're all abiding by that and contributing to that. And if you are going out, I hope that you're taking the proper precautions, whether it be wearing gloves. I hope you're wearing gloves, wearing masks. Obviously, when you get out the store, throw the gloves out because they are contaminated. I recommend wiping everything down with Clorox wipes or whatever you got when you get home. And then obviously disinfecting commonly touched things and surfaces like light switches, tabletops, things like that. You know what I mean? And then washing your hands very thoroughly for 20 seconds. Just to give you an example, when I wash my hands, I typically lather them up really good. I get the tops like this. I then wrap like this, roll around my hands like that. I also take my fingernails and scrub them against my palm. I do this with every single one of my fingers all the way through each side. And then I, lather up some more and then I rinse off. Now they say 20 seconds or singing happy birthday twice. Typically, the way I do it takes about 30 seconds, but that's a very thorough and clean way. I've watched doctors recommend to wash your hands that way on the internet, and I recommend you do that the same as well. Soap and water is honestly the best way, but if you don't have soap and water readily available, any hand sanitizer that is over 60% alcohol-based will do the trick, at least until you get home. When you're out in public, do not touch your face. If your hands are not clean, do not touch your face. Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, do not touch them. I don't know. I never heard anybody say anything about ears, but let's not risk that either. Let's play it on the safe side. Those are some things that I really want you to avoid. The things we listed, let me look through my list here. Trying your best not to let your mental health get worse. I know that's really hard, and I know I'm asking the world of a lot of people, but don't give up and try. Don't turn to substance abuse. That will only make things worse. And you're talking to someone who's an alcoholic for years. Don't do that. Don't do that. The best decision that I ever made for myself was to quit drinking, and it has helped me immensely. It's unequivocally the best choice that you can make for yourself. And if you don't struggle with abuse or, and with any types of substance, and you're just a social drinker and, maybe once a week you and your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or just your friends, sit back and have a couple of drinks and enjoy yourselves, that is completely healthy. That is completely fine. Just try not to let it turn into something more than that. Okay. Try to keep a healthy sleep schedule. Try to get up in the morning. No one's saying you have to get up at the crack of dawn, but try to get up no later than 10 or 11. I myself get up between typically 8 and 9. That works best for me. What works best for me may not work best for you, and that is okay. Try not to let fear consume you. I know it's hard. It consumed me for all of January. But as February rolled along, I kind of adjusted and accepted what was happening around me in the world and just realized that all I can do is my best to protect myself, my family, the people I love, and my friends. And you can do that too. Now, here are some things that you can do to cope with what's going on around you. I know that it's really easy because we see everything going on around us in the world. Every time we open our phones, we have Twitter readily available. We have Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere you go, no matter where you turn, there is COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and it's everywhere. And it's really easy for us to all get wrapped in and reading about what's going on. While it is healthy to know what is happening around you, do not let that consume you. Don't every single day constantly read about it. Take a few days off. We know that it's bad out there. We know that it's starting to slowly get better in some areas, even in America, in our country, for my fellow Americans who are watching this. My fellow Americans who are watching this. I'm just kidding. I couldn't resist myself. Laughing is also very healthy for you, so hopefully you got a chuckle out of that. I know I did. Try not to let it consume you. Don't constantly read about it. Try and find something else to watch. Try and find something else to read about. I do think that it is healthy to know what is going on around you. I'm not trying to repeat myself too much, but maybe limit that to once or twice a week. If it's really bad in your area where you're at, like if you're in an epicenter like New York or New Jersey or something like that, I understand checking in maybe a little more often, but again, don't let it consume you. Another healthy thing that you can do is something we already talked about, avoiding alcohol and drugs. Again, if you are a social drinker and you drink very lightly, like normally, not an abuse of a substance problem, you're probably fine. You're most likely fine. But for people like me who cannot partake in alcohol because it is bad for us, if you feel you are that person, do not turn to alcohol or drugs. They will not make the situation better. Again, it's like taking a napkin and taping it over a wound. It is not a Band-Aid even. Don't do that. We already talked about having good sleep. Another thing you can do is eating healthy. Your body is a vessel that we journey through the cosmos with, and it is the only one you get. Take care of it. Eating a well-balanced, healthy diet, you will feel better. If you're eating shitty foods all the time, you're constantly just eating pizza or Tostito pizza rolls, that kind of stuff, just Chef Boyardee, your body is not getting the nutrients and the nourishment it needs. Fruit and vegetables and a well-balanced diet of, not eating a shit ton of carbs, eating your veggies, eating your fruit, eating your greens, those are things that your body needs. The healthier food you put into your body, the better that you'll feel. And that leads into my next thing that I think you all should do as well, something I do very often. Exercise. You might think exercise is really hard, especially if you're really out of shape. A little over 2 months ago, I was really out of shape. I was about 180 pounds. In over 2 months, I'm down to 144.8 pounds now. I have made massive leaps in my fitness. And when you first get back to working out, I'll tell you right now, it's hard. You can't do much. It takes weeks to get into a routine. But once you really get into that routine, I'm telling you right now, it feels so much easier to get working out. You start to be able to push yourself further. You start to physically feel better. You start to physically look better. Ever since I quit drinking, my skin looks amazing. It looks way better. My skin didn't look bad before, but it looks better. Everywhere I go, people tell me, whoa, Mark, you look like a completely different person. You've lost so much weight. Your skin is like glowing. You look way better. And I'm like, thank you. I really appreciate that. It feels really good to know that. And I'm not trying to talk about myself. I'm just using myself as an example to let you all know you can get there. Exercising and eating healthy will improve your mental health as well. Yes, it's not going to cure any underlying problems you have or issues with mental health like depression or something, no, but it can lighten the load a little bit. I myself do not suffer from depression. I've gotten depressed many times in life, but it's not something that I deal with as an ongoing battle every day of my life. I know people that have. I've firsthand been with people that struggle with that and seen it firsthand and, just done my best to help them. And if they fall, pick them up so that they could walk and I would walk alongside them. Because you cannot take on another person's problems, but you can help. And for you to take them on and make them your own would be unhealthy. So having seen firsthand with someone like that myself for a lengthy period of time, I learned it's okay to pick them up if they fall. And they have to walk through and sort these problems out themselves. But you can be a support system and help and talk to them. Let them know it's going to be okay. Let them vent to you. Give them suggestions of what could help. Do that for the loved ones that you care about. Even if this video isn't about you and you're watching it, these are things you can apply to someone who may be dealing with that. But eating healthy, again, is not a cure for depression or anything like that, or working out isn't, but these are things that are proven to help with depression. So these are things you can also do as well. To my next point, supporting people that you care about. Maybe this isn't affecting you that much. Maybe you're a very strong-willed person, but you have someone in your life that this is affecting, that is already dealing with mental health. Because one thing about going into isolation and lockdown with this quarantine is people with depression or mental health issues being locked in an area, knowing that they don't have a way to go out and really do anything, can make their depression or mental health problems worsen. You can show support. And if you are one of those people that's watching this that is going through that with mental health issues, and being in this isolation and lockdown and quarantine is affecting you more, these are things you can do as well for yourself. For yourself, you can reach out to your loved ones. If you know someone going through that, you can reach out to them. There's a lot of ways that we have readily available to us that we can do nowadays. Back in 1918 with the Spanish flu and the Spanish influenza epidemic, we didn't have these possibilities or these capabilities. We have technology now at our hands. We never had that before during the last time something really big and major like this happened and it broke out. And honestly, now that we do, there's so many things. The telephone. We have that available right now. Email, little things like that. A really big thing is texting, video chat, FaceTime, Skype, Discord. Physically being able to see someone and make a connection to them physically that you care about and can talk to and talk about things and vent and be there for one another and be there for each other. That companionship of a friend or a family member or a loved one or a significant other. You have that available readily to you right then and there. Do it. If you know someone's struggling, reach out, call them, text them, ask them how they're doing. And if they're willing to talk and ready to talk, they'll talk to you. Some people may not be. And that's really hard. I can tell you right now that is hard. When you care about someone and you just want to, in the most unselfish way, just ask how they're doing. Not talk about anything else, just how they're doing. And they don't want to talk. I know it can be hard. Give them space. If they're willing to talk later on, they'll come around. Just hope that they do. But for those that you can, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't feel embarrassed if you haven't talked to them in a while. Well, I haven't talked to this person in so long. Who cares? See how they're doing. You might make their whole entire day. I know a lot of friends and family are doing Zoom calls, which is kind of like a Discord or Skype group call, I guess. And that's really healthy as well. Again, texting is just a real easy way to kind of communicate. Social media is another great way. Stay in touch with people, friends, family, loved ones, significant others, etc. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I know those ones are a little bit more difficult because when you go on there, you see a lot of stuff about what's going on. Just try to kind of avoid that. I mean, these are a lot of things that I personally myself have thought about talking about and done some research on that I think could be very helpful to all of us. Now I'd like to tell you about some of the things that helped me get to where I am. In November of last year, I was dealing with my anxiety flaring up and getting worse. Someone very close to me approached me and suggested that I go to therapy to learn to manage it. And I did. I went there and I learned. I got an official diagnosis. It was a pretty severely light case, but it had been going unmanaged for so many years, which is why it kind of blew up on me. I would just ignore it instead of seeking out professional help. And afterwards, it got to the point where after a little bit of time, enough stress built up, I'd blow up. I would just blow up and have a full breakdown. And it was rough. Learning to manage my anxiety was very, very helpful. One thing that I do if you suffer from anxiety that I can really help you, and I'll teach you and show you right now. This person who taught me this showed me it, and it helped a lot. And my therapist also taught me it as well. He said, oh, this person I'm mentioning to you taught me this as well. He's like, yeah, they were right. It's very helpful. If you start to feel anxious, your heart's usually racing. You need to slow your heart rate so that you can calm down. What you can do, sit up straight, good posture, take a deep breath in, hold it for 10 seconds. Exhale. The next one through your nose. 10 seconds. Through your mouth. Repeat that a couple of times. I guarantee you within a minute, You will start to calm down and feel much calmer. Your heart rate will slow. You will be calmer. Anytime my anxiety flares up, I do that. Now, will this work for all of you? I can't say for sure. But I can tell you that from my own personal experience, it helps me every single time. When you get anxious, your body feels warm. If you've experienced anxiety, you know what it is. You feel like you're dying. You feel like something could be really wrong with you. When there's not, you're just a little overwhelmed emotionally or mentally, and your anxiety flares up. Do that. I promise you that it helps you. I promise you that it helps me, and it'll probably help you too. From my experience of teaching people that I'm friends with or close with or love or care about, it has helped them all. And again, I cannot guarantee that it will help you as well, but from what I've seen, most likely it will. The other thing that I've done is in February, I made the decision to quit drinking. My issues with alcohol, where I would get loopy, I'd be like, yeah, I'd overdrink. I would get to the point where I would drink and I wouldn't cut myself off. I would say, oh, you know what? I want to keep this feeling going. I'm going to have one more drink. That one more drink is what always put me over the edge. And I would get loopy. Like, I'd just be like slurring my words, not making much sense. And I was never like physical or verbally abusive to anyone like that. But I would get loopy, and the people that cared about me were scared. They were afraid that I could hurt myself, and that made them afraid. And they were also afraid that what if I did become physically or verbally abusive like that one day? Friends and family and loved ones. And thankfully that never happened. But it got to the point where I was just still not making progress with that. And people in my life got sick of dealing with it. And I said to myself, I am tired of hurting the people that I love and making them afraid of what I'm doing. You know, if I could end up hurting myself, you know, they started getting fed up dealing with it. And I made the decision that I have to stop drinking. And then afterwards, those people told me, you either stop drinking or they're not going to be in my life anymore. I had already made the decision because I knew they were upset with me for, again, saying I wasn't going to let myself get like that. And I did. I called them one day loopy, and they're like, you know, hey, I don't want to talk to you on the phone. You're like this right now. Stop. And then they hung up on me, and I was upset. So I left them a voicemail like, this is ridiculous. This is bullshit. Why won't you talk to me? Yeah, I'm drunk, whatever, but you know, I'm fine. You know, whatever. I guess I'll talk to you later. And then I woke up the next day, and that person was mad at me for telling them that I wouldn't allow myself to get like that again, you know, get loopy, you know, slurring my words, not making sense, drinking more than I needed to, not knowing my limits. And I knew they were mad at me. I spoke to a close friend of mine named Tom and said, you know what? I am not going to let this affect this relationship like I let it affect any friendships or family members in the past. I'm done. And then that person told me later on that day that it was either, hey, you stop drinking, or this isn't going to keep happening. I had already made up my mind to stop drinking because I didn't want that to happen. And whenever they gave me that ultimatum, I completely agreed with it. I feel they were justified. No one should have to put up with someone who does things like that. And I quit drinking. I never went back to it. And everything was fine after that, by the way. Everything went back to normal with me and that person. They knew that I was serious about it. They forgave me. They knew that, you know, I would never go back on that. They trusted me. And they were right to, because to this day, I still haven't. But these are some things that I did to better myself. Learning to manage my anxiety. Quitting a substance that all it ever did was hurt me. And it wasn't good for me. After that, working on my physical health, my fitness, losing weight, eating healthier. My mental health is strong. Thankfully, I don't have mental health issues, and please don't take that as an attack on anyone who does. I'm just grateful that I don't, because I firsthand seen how hard they are, and I feel so sympathetic towards people that deal with that. And that's why I wanted to make this video, is for all of you in this hard time, and tell you to avoid some things that can make it worse. And I hope that this video has helped you. I'm not trying to brag about my success stories with what I've done to better myself. I'm telling you to let you know that there's hope for everyone, including you. And some of you may have way worse problems than I dealt with that probably won't be as easy to get through, but you will. In time, you will. I believe in you. I really believe in you. I managed to get my anxiety under control in November. I quit drinking in February. Therapy has helped me. I had a traumatic thing happen to me in March, and I handled it very poorly. I was far too pushy trying to rectify the situation, and I pushed someone further away from me doing that. I can't change that, but I can change the future. After 6 or 7 sessions of therapy, addressing how that happened and how I reacted and why I reacted that way, I can confidently and comfortably say, that'll never happen again now. I feel much more confident in myself in something like that, much stronger and more prepared for something like that. Whether it be with someone else in the future or that person again, if that ever happened, I would never react that way again. Therapy is something I recommend to all of you. It has helped me find out things and figure out things and solutions for myself that I didn't even know were there. And to the person that suggested me to get into therapy in November of last year, thank you, and I love you. You made me such a better person. You helped me grow. And I love you so, so very, very much, and I always will. To all of you, I know therapy can seem expensive. You'd be amazed by the options that you have out there. I myself managed to find a therapist for $25 an hour. That is amazing. It's out there. Anyone can make progress in their life if they take the steps. Even you watching this video right now, you can. And again, this isn't me bragging or anything, but if I can get my anxiety under control, my drinking under control, learn how to handle a traumatizing situation better, and then after that even sort out all my finances and get out of debt, and now all the money I make is profit, and I did that all since November, that is literally only 5 months. And I fixed my drinking, being able to handle traumatizing situation and finances from March to now. Or excuse me, from February, beginning of February to now. Now, it might not be that quick for all of you. It might not be a few months. It might take you longer. But I'm just saying that you can do it. I promise you that you can. No one's going to come along and do it for you, though. You have to take the steps. And I know for some of you that can be hard. Sometimes you don't want to get out of bed. And it's okay to take a mental health day. Take the day off. Lay in bed. Relax. Watch Netflix. But do the other things I said in this video the next day. Get a healthy sleeping pattern. Eat healthy. Work out. These are all great things that can help your mental health during this hard time where we're all locked inside. They help me a lot. When I'm done with this video, I'm going to go work out. If you're interested in seeing my progress of my fitness, in the description of this video, I'll leave a link to my most recent video where I show like a before and after. You can see progress can be made. But love and light to all of you. Stay safe. Care for your loved ones. Care for each other. Talk to one another. Everything's going to be all right. We will get through this together. To everyone that made it all the way through this video and watched it, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love all of you. Never forget your self-worth. Even if someone else doesn't appreciate your self-worth and they can't see it, don't you ever forget that, okay? You are loved. You are strong. You are amazing. And I believe in each and every single one of you. I love you all. I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care. Malzar out.